This is absolutely one of the worst figures that I've ever owned. So let me save you a bit of money in case you were gonna pick it up. But hey, maybe you'll still want her after the review. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Figma 623 Deluxe Edition Ciel from Tsukihime or something. I'm going to be honest and I have no idea who this is or where she's from. Out of the box there's just one tray. This has most her stuff in it. There are instructions, of course. Here's a quick look at them. Let's get her out of the tray. Here she is. Looks okay, nothing special. She's got a pretty straightforward design and outfit, mainly in black and blue with some silver and white accents. She has short blue hair, which looks okay. There's not really any shading on it, I think. Honestly, I don't actually know how to describe this outfit. She's got like a long blue top thing, which leads into like a black skirt. Or is it a dress? I don't know, whatever. There's some sculpt detailing on the front and back of her top, I guess. However, there's not really any shading across the whole figure. She has some black gloves with some white palm bits. And she has some mainly black and blue thigh-high booty armor things. Overall, looks okay, I guess. I got no connection to the character, unfortunately. But hey, if you like the character, then you might like how she looks. Objectively, it is a nice, simple design. However, once again, it is very, very basic. That's pretty much saying the same thing twice. For articulation, her head moves around like this, turns, nods, and tilts. Her nod is limited a little bit by her back hair. Her arms are not hindered by anything, so they move well. She also has a swivel on the shoulder, which allows her to move a bit more. Her arms move back this much, and she can reach forwards this much. So unfortunately for me, out of the box, there was a small crack on the shoulder. It's not too noticeable, but not really good. Her elbows bend like this, and her wrists move like this. Her upper torso moves like this. She can swivel, and she can bend a little bit. Forward bend is better than backward bend. And she has a very average tilt. And she's got that waist-torso articulation that people seem to not like. I think it really depends. It's not too bad here. It is slightly gappy, but since the outfit is darkish blue, it's not too bad. In saying that, even though it's such a prominent cut, it doesn't really add any articulation. Bend is very, very, very average. There is more forward bend than backward bend. And so she can slouch better than Okurun. Also, everything in her torso is super, super loose. Almost as loose as a bootleg. Very, very unfortunate. Her skirt's kind of like a weird soft plastic. It's kind of harder than normal and doesn't really bend out of the way that much. So you can't really expect too much more articulation. Luckily, she does have pull-down legs, which allow for a little bit more articulation, however it's not that great. Her legs split to the sides like this. She can kick back and forth this much. You can kind of wiggle them a little bit, I guess. She doesn't have any thigh rotation or anything like that. She does have double jointed knees. The knees can look a little bit funky when bent. Her feet can kind of move. It's a little bit janky. And she has a toe bend. However, the right one doesn't move for me, which is fantastic. I mean, honestly, do you even need a toe bend with shoes like this? Also, her knees are loose as hell for me, absolutely terrible, holy moly. For accessories, she has a big Figma stand, Figma bag, which is wrapped up this time. Well, that is a win, I suppose. And spare wrist joint. For faces, she has a total of 3. She has her default slight smile or neutral face. Or is it? You can kind of see that the mold or the shape of the mouth is a slight smile. However, the paint itself is either a neutral mouth or even a frown. What is going on? She has an angry teeth gritted face, which is also screwed up on my copy. What in the world? Anyway, you can see the paint on the mouth isn't too neat, and there is a slight white smudge on the eye as well. Okay, maybe it's not that bad. Reason being, I was able to kind of fingernail it off. For reference, this is what it looked like before. Lastly, she has a kind of surprised-ish blushy face. Thankfully, this one looks fine. Very cute. For hands, she has 5 or 6 pairs, depending on how you like to count. She has her default clenched fists. My mistake, she has default fisty hands. She has open wavy hands, which I got 2 of! Isn't that interesting? Other than that, she's meant to have a few different hands for holding the guns in different ways. And you may also notice the thumbs are kinda messed up. Why is it like that? What the heck happened here? Now I do know that this figure was delayed a little bit, perhaps this was the reason. But that doesn't really excuse any of the other mess ups, does it? On my copy anyway. So actually I did reach out to Good Smile support, but unfortunately did not get anything back. No face, no arm, no hand, nothing. I suppose that is one of the downsides of buying from local stores in Hong Kong. Sometimes they don't like to give receipts because cash business. But it's also a bit weird because I did get a gun replacement for Kazusa, even though I didn't have a receipt. But that is a story for another time. Anyway, she has Wolverine claws or hands, or black keys if you want to use the technical name. These also have the screwed up thumb. Really, really cool. These do come with the regular version too, so you're not missing out there if you get that one. They look pretty cool and do make for some nice poses. I would be careful with these though, because they are quite thin, and maybe a little bit fragile as well. Here's a closer look at the 7th Holy Scripture thing. I don't actually know which is which, but she has weapons. These are of course only with her deluxe version. I'd say there is a good amount of playability with these. And we love girlies with big weapons. There are some bits which can move on the guns. However, they are quite minimal and don't really add too much. One of the parts on the larger one was also super hard to move, so I guess be careful with that. The part with the handle is not so bad, I would even say it's a little bit too loose. There is also a nail thing which goes into the gun. And there is also a firing effect piece. I do think Ciel is a pretty cool figure despite not really knowing anything about her. I'm just kidding, she absolutely sucks. It's really weird because when I took her out of the box, she instantly felt different. Like she felt a little lighter than your average Figma. Won't really be able to confirm because I don't have any scales. So you'll just have to take my word for it. Her plastic also feels a little cheaper than your regular Figma. Don't quite know how to describe it. Just doesn't feel nice in Figma, you know? Anyway, for height, does it even really matter at this point? She is about 14.5 centimeters or 5 3/4 inches. Here she is next to Izumi and Samurai, Jelter and Madonia, and a bunch of other girlies. Unfortunately, there is absolutely nothing which redeems this figure for me, but I do hope that if you get her, yours is a lot better than mine. I'm so glad I don't have to look at this figure anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.